All right, so today we're going to be diving into chatbots for language learning.
Yeah.
We're talking AI tutors, personalized vocabulary drills,
Right.
and really the potential to shake up how we learn languages.
It's amazing how technology is really changing how we're learning.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at today is not just theoretical stuff.
Right.
We're going to be looking at some hard data
Oh, cool.
about how effective some of these AI tools can be.
So we'll be dissecting a research article titled A Chatbot for Learning Chinese, Learning Achievement and Technology Acceptance.
Right.
And they put a chatbot to the test with international students who are learning Chinese in Taiwan.
This is going to be a really interesting deep dive.
Yeah.
We're not only going to be unpacking if this chatbot actually worked,
Right.
but also what makes people want to use new learning technology in the first place.
So you're telling me there's a science to
Yeah.
getting people excited about using a language learning app?
Yeah, there's a whole psychological model behind it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm interested. Tell me more about this model.
It's called the Technology Acceptance Model,
Okay,
or TAM for short.
got it.
And it really comes down to two main things.
Okay,
How easy people find the tech to use
right.
and how useful they think it is.
Okay, so usefulness and ease of use.
Exactly.
Got it.
And sometimes those perceptions can be really surprising.
Okay, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the study.
Sure.
58 international students learning Chinese in Taiwan.
Right.
And they divided them into two groups.
Yeah, they did.
Group A was a classic classroom setup
Okay, traditional.
with the chatbot as a supplemental tool.
Yes.
And then Group B is where things get interesting.
Yeah,
They only use the chatbot for one-on-one tutoring.
that's right.
So Group B is really putting this chatbot through its paces.
Yeah.
No safety net of a human teacher there.
Exactly.
So can you set the scene for us?
Yeah.
What was this chatbot Xiaoan all about?
So Shaolin was accessible through Line, which is a super popular messaging app.
Right?
So smart move there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, meet the learners where they are.
Exactly.
No need to download another app.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so I'm already liking Xiaoan.
Yeah,
Convenience is key.
absolutely.
What kind of learning content did it offer, though?
Shaolin was all about vocabulary.
Okay.
It had lists organized into 4 difficulty levels.
Okay.
And each word came with all the works. Chinese characters,
Wow.
pinyin, English meaning, and example sentences.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a digital flashcard deck,
Right.
but way more interactive.
Did it have any practice activities built in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Zhaoan had a multiple choice practice section
Okay.
with instant feedback.
Nice.
So, no waiting around wondering if you got it right or not.
Right.
That immediate reinforcement is really important for learning.
Drum roll, please.
Okay.
Did it actually work? Great. Did these students learn anything?
This is where things get exciting.
Okay.
Both groups.
Okay. The classroom learners and the chatbot-only learners.
All right.
Both of them significantly boosted their vocabulary scores after using Xiaoan.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah, it is.
So even without a human teacher,
Right.
this chatbot was helping students learn new words.
Exactly.
What about Group B, the chatbot-only group?
Okay.
How did they fare?
This is the real kicker.
Okay.
Group B actually outperformed Group A.
Wait, so hold on.
Yeah.
You're saying the students who only used the chatbot for learning
Right.
did better
Yes.
than the students who had a teacher and the chatbot.
Oh, who got it?
That's crazy.
And that speaks volumes about the potential of personalized learning.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
Like a chatbot can tailor the experience to your own pace
Exactly.
in a way that a classroom teacher with 30 other students
Right.
just can't.
It's just not possible.
So color me intrigued.
Yeah.
But is this just a case of short-term memorization? Did they retain any of this vocabulary? That's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
They tested the students again a week later.
Okay.
And guess what?
What?
They still remembered the vocabulary.
Wow.
So this isn't just cramming for a test.
Right.
This is suggesting some real potential for
Okay.
long-term learning with chatbots.
Okay. Chatbot Xiaoan is officially on my to-try list.
It's a good one.
Now, you mentioned this whole technology acceptance model thing.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for me a little bit?
Of course.
Wait, what is it?
So the researchers wanted to understand what factors influence the students' willingness to use Xiaoan.
Right.
So they looked at perceived ease of use.
Right. How user-friendly is this chatbot?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nobody wants to wrestle with a clunky interface when they're trying to learn.
Right, especially when you're trying to learn something new.
Exactly.
What else did they look at?
They also measured perceived usefulness.
Okay.
So, whether students felt like the chatbot was actually helping them learn.
Right. It's all about results. If a tool isn't helping me achieve my goals, I'm not going to use it.
Right.
Did they look at the fun factor at all?
They did.
Okay.
They measured perceived enjoyment.
Okay.
Because, let's face it, learning is way more effective when it's enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, their findings there were really interesting.
Oh.
But maybe we can unpack those in a little bit.
Okay.
I want to hear your initial reaction to the study setup.
Okay.
What stood out to you the most? Anything surprising?
Honestly, what surprised me the most was that Group B, the students who only use the chatbot did better than the group with a teacher and the chatbot.
Yeah.
I would thought that human interaction would be more beneficial.
It's really counterintuitive.
Yeah.
You think you need a human teacher.
Yeah.
But in this case, the chatbot alone was actually more effective.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the possibilities of personalized learning.
Right.
Like maybe we're underestimating the potential. Yeah.
Of technology.
That's a great point.
To do that.
And I think a lot of times we think about technology as replacing human connection in learning.
Right.
But maybe it's more about enhancing it.
Yeah, like using it as a tool.
Exactly.
To supplement.
Right.
Yeah.
Not replace.
Okay, well, let's dig deeper into the technology acceptance model.
Sure.
You mentioned that the researchers measured how easy and how useful students perceived the chatbot to be.
Yes.
What did they find out?
Well, they found that perceived usefulness was the strongest predictor of whether a student would continue using the chatbot.
So if they thought that it was actually useful, they would continue to use it.
Exactly. If students felt like Xiaowen was helping them learn,
makes sense,
they were more likely to keep using it.
Yeah, it's all about results.
It is.
If a tool isn't helping me, I'm not going to use it.
You got it.
But you said something earlier that I thought was really interesting. Okay. You said the ease of use wasn't directly linked to continued use.
Exactly.
Which is counterintuitive.
It is.
You would think.
Right.
That the easier something is to use, the more likely we are to use it.
You would think.
But that wasn't the case here.
So the study found that while perceived ease of use didn't directly influence whether students would use Xiaowen again.
Okay.
It did have an indirect effect.
Okay.
Through perceived usefulness.
Okay, I'm all ears.
All right.
How does that work?
So imagine this.
Okay.
A student starts using Xiaowen.
All right.
And at first they find it a bit tricky to navigate.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe the layout isn't intuitive.
Right.
Or they're not used to the chatbot's conversational style.
Yeah.
But because they stick with it and they eventually figure it out, they start to see how beneficial it can be for their learning.
Gotcha.
So their initial struggle actually leads to a stronger perception of usefulness. So it's like the effort they had to put in made them appreciate it more.
Exactly.
It's like easy come, easy go.
Right.
Like maybe a little bit of effort helps cement the learning.
Exactly.
But too much, and then people will just give up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to make things so difficult that learners get discouraged.
Right.
The key is to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Provide enough support and guidance to help them overcome those initial hurdles.
But not like spoon feed them.
Yeah, you got it.
This technology acceptance model is giving me a whole new perspective on how we design learning experiences.
That's great.
It's not just about making things fun and easy.
Right.
It's about finding that balance.
That sweet spot.
Where learners feel challenged but supported.
Exactly.
Where they have to put in effort.
Right.
But ultimately see the payoff.
It's about empowering them to be active participants in their learning.
And speaking of active participation, I think it's time we hear what the students themselves had to say.
I think so, too.
So the researchers interviewed the students to get their feedback.
Right.
What kind of things did they share?
Well, overall, students had positive experiences with Xiaowen.
All right.
They really appreciated the convenience factor.
Yeah.
Being able to access it through Line.
Yeah.
A platform they were already using daily.
Right.
Made it feel seamless.
Right.
And integrated into their lives.
It's like meet people where they are.
Exactly.
Applies to technology, too. Nobody wants to jump through hoops. To get to the learning.
You got it.
They also raved about the flexibility.
Yeah, they loved that.
Being able to learn at their own pace. Anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Which is especially important for busy students.
Yeah. Anyone with a busy schedule really appreciates that flexibility.
And it makes sense because, like, traditional language classes can be so inflexible.
Right.
You have to be at a certain place at a certain time.
And you have to keep up with everyone else.
Keep up with the pace of the group.
Exactly.
And chatbots just offer a level of personalization that you don't get in a traditional classroom.
Exactly.
The students also found the practice exercises to be very helpful.
Yes, they did.
They liked the instant feedback, which allowed them to correct mistakes right away.
Yep, and reinforce their learning.
But I'm curious.
Okay.
What did the students not like about Xiaowen?
Yeah, what didn't they like?
Was there anything they found frustrating or lacking?
There were a few things.
Okay.
Some students found the repetition in the practice exercises to be a bit tedious.
Yeah.
They felt like the chatbot could benefit from more variety
to
keep things engaging.
Which makes sense, because even with instant feedback, too much repetition is going to lead to boredom.
You got it.
Did they have any other suggestions for improvement?
They did.
Okay.
They wished that the chatbot included grammar and pronunciation practice.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
In addition to vocabulary.
Exactly.
Because you can't just learn words. You'll have to know how to put them together and pronounce them.
Exactly.
Did the students have any specific ideas for how to incorporate those elements?
Some of them suggested adding a feature where they could record themselves.
Oh, cool.
Saying a word or a phrase.
Yeah.
And then get feedback from the chatbot on their pronunciation.
That's cool.
They also thought it would be helpful to have exercises that focused on grammar rules and sentence construction.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So it sounds like they were really thinking critically about how it could be improved.
It wasn't just complaining.
Right.
It was really constructive feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly the kind of feedback that developers need to make these technologies really effective learning tools.
It's not enough to just build something cool.
Right.
You got to listen to your users.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And make sure you're incorporating their needs and suggestions.
So we've heard about the good, the bad, and the could be better.
Right.
What's the big picture takeaway here?
Okay.
Do you think that chatbots like Xiaowen have the potential to revolutionize language learning?
I think they absolutely do.
Okay.
This study provides some really compelling evidence
Yeah.
that chatbots can help students learn and retain new vocabulary.
Right.
And I think the insights from the technology acceptance model emphasize the importance of designing chatbots that are both useful and engaging.
Right. But it's also clear that there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Future chatbots could benefit from incorporating features like those suggested by the student.
Right, like gamification, sentence-based practice, pronunciation, feedback, all those things.
Yeah. And as technology keeps advancing, I imagine we'll see even more innovative and sophisticated language learning chatbots emerge.
I think so too.
But it's important to remember that technology is just a tool.
It is.
The real magic happens when we combine the power of technology with thoughtful pedagogy and a deep understanding of how humans learn.
You got it.
I completely agree.
Right.
It's not about replacing teachers with robots. It's about empowering teachers with new tools to create more engaging
and more effective
learning experiences.
It's about empowering learners to take control of their own learning journeys.
That's a really good point.
And chatbots can help with that.
Yeah.
By giving them personalized feedback.
Yeah.
On-demand availability. Making learning more accessible.
More equitable.
Yeah, for everyone.
That's a really powerful thought.
It is.
You know, technology can really help break down barriers, open up opportunities for people.
For everyone.
Who maybe don't have access to traditional forms of education.
Right.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm still a little bit skeptical.
Okay.
Can a chatbot really replicate the richness and nuance of human interaction in language learning?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it's one that we're going to continue to grapple with as chatbot technology evolves.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge the limitations of AI chatbots.
Yeah.
At least in their current form.
Right.
Can't replace human connection and cultural understanding, which are so important for language learning.
Sure.
It's not about choosing between human teachers and chatbots.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways
to use them together.
Yeah, to integrate these two approaches.
To create a more holistic experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to move beyond this either mentality and embrace the both-hand possibilities.
I like that.
Chatbots can handle the rote tasks.
Okay.
Like drilling vocabulary.
Right.
Providing basic grammar feedback.
Yep.
And then human teachers can focus on the more nuanced aspects of language learning.
Yeah.
Like pronunciation.
Right.
Cultural context.
For sure.
Conversational fluency.
And as chatbots become more sophisticated, maybe they can take on even more complex tasks and free up teachers to do what they do best.
Right, which is inspire, motivate, connect with their students.
It's an exciting time to be involved in language education.
For sure.
We're at like the cusp of a major transformation.
It's up to us to harness this power.
Yeah.
In a way that benefits all learners.
Well, this deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
It's a fascinating topic.
I'm definitely going to be exploring the world of language learning chatbots more.
I encourage you to do so.
Right.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you would think that human interaction is so important for language learning.
You would think, right.
But this is saying that maybe not as much.
Maybe not. I mean, the ability of a chatbot to like tailor the learning to each individual is really kind of a game changer.
Yeah.
It's something that even the best teachers struggle with in a classroom setting.
Yeah, because you just can't give that personalized attention to every single student.
Exactly.
So it makes me wonder if we're underestimating the potential of tech to personalize education.
That's a great point.
Maybe we've been thinking about it all wrong.
Yeah, maybe we have.
Okay, so let's go back to this technology acceptance model.
Okay.
You mentioned that they measured how easy and how useful students perceive the chatbot to be.
Right.
What did they find out about those perceptions?
So they found that perceived usefulness was the strongest predictor of whether a student would continue using the chatbot.
Okay, so basically, if they felt like it was helpful, they were more likely to keep using it.
In other words, if the students felt like Shiyun was helping them learn,
makes sense.
They were more likely to use it again.
It's all about results.
It is, right.
If the tool isn't working, why use it?
Exactly.
But you said earlier that ease of use wasn't directly linked to continued use.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It is. It's kind of counterintuitive.
It is, right.
You think that the easier something is to use,
yeah, you would think,
the more we're going to want to use it?
Exactly.
But that wasn't the case here.
That's not what they found.
So how does that work?
So what the study actually found was that perceived ease of use didn't directly influence whether students would use Shiyun again. But it did have an indirect effect. Through perceived usefulness.
Okay, but I'm not following.
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
A student starts using Shiyun.
All right.
Maybe they find it a bit tricky to navigate at first.
Okay.
You know, maybe the layout's not super intuitive.
Right.
Or they're just not used to talking to a chatbot.
Yeah.
But they stick with it.
Okay.
And they figure it out.
Yeah.
And then they start to see how beneficial it can be for their learning.
Okay.
So their initial struggle actually makes them see it as more useful.
Oh, so it's like they had to work for it a little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
So they value it more.
Exactly.
Like the whole easy come, easy go thing. If you have to put in a little bit of effort to learn something, you're more likely to remember it.
Exactly.
But if it's too hard, people will just give up.
Yeah, you don't want to make it so challenging that people get frustrated and quit.
Right. So it's all about finding that right balance.
It is. It's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, like where it's challenging enough, but not too challenging.
You want to provide enough support and guidance to help students get over those initial hurdles.
Right.
But you don't want to spoon feed them either.
Exactly.
It's all about finding that balance.
This technology acceptance model is really interesting.
It is, right.
It makes you think about designing these learning experiences, like in a whole new way.
Exactly.
It's not just about making things fun and easy. It's about finding that balance.
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's engaging, but also that it's actually helping people learn.
Okay, well, let's hear from the students.
Okay.
The researchers interviewed the students.
Right.
What did they have to say?
So overall, the students had pretty positive experiences.
Okay, that's good.
With Shiyun.
Okay, good.
They really liked the convenience factor.
Okay.
You know, they could access it through Line.
Right.
Which is a platform they were already using every day.
Right.
So it felt really seamless.
Yeah.
And integrated into their lives.
It's like I said, meet people where they are.
Exactly.
Applies to learning technology, too.
It does.
Nobody wants to jump through hoops to get to the learning.
Nobody has time for that.
They also said that they really liked the flexibility.
Yeah.
Being able to learn at their own pace, anytime, anywhere.
And that was really important.
Especially for busy students.
Yeah, anyone with a busy schedule really appreciated that.
Yeah, because traditional language classes are not flexible at all.
You got to be there at a certain time.
Right.
You got to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah, and chatbots just offer that level of personalization.
That's right.
That you don't get
in
a traditional classroom setting.
You got it.
And the students found the practice exercises to be really helpful.
Yes, they did.
They liked the instant feedback so they could correct their mistakes right away.
Exactly. And reinforce what they just learned.
But I'm curious, what did the students not like about Shawan?
Okay, yeah, good question.
Were there any aspects of it that they found frustrating or lacking?
Well, there were a few things.
Okay.
Some students found the repetition in the practice exercises to be a bit tedious.
Too much repetition can be boring.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you're getting that instant feedback.
Even with the feedback, you can get a little bit boring.
Did they have any other suggestions?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
They said that they wished that Shawan included grammar and pronunciation practice.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You can't just learn vocabulary.
Right.
You have to know how to use it.
How to put it all together.
Exactly.
Do they have any ideas for how to incorporate that?
Some of them thought it would be cool if they could record themselves saying a word or a phrase and then get feedback from Shawan on their pronunciation.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right.
Yeah, like a built-in pronunciation coach. That's awesome.
They also thought it would be helpful to have some exercises that focused on grammar rules and sentence construction.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they were really thinking about how to make it better.
It wasn't just mindless complaining.
No, it was very constructive feedback.
They were giving them real suggestions.
Exactly, and that's the kind of feedback that developers need.
Right.
They need to know what's working, what's not working.
And how to make it better.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the good, the bad, the could be better. What's the big takeaway?
Okay.
Do you think chatbots have the potential to revolutionize language learning?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think they absolutely do.
I think this study really shows that chatbots can be helpful.
They can be very effective
in helping students learn and retain new vocabulary.
Exactly. And I think the technology acceptance model shows us that we need to make sure these chatbots are useful and engaging.
But there's definitely room for improvement.
There is. There's always room for improvement.
Things like gamification. Sentence-based practice, pronunciation feedback.
All those things.
All that stuff. And as technology keeps advancing, I think we're going to see even more innovative and sophisticated chatbots.
I think so.
But it's important to remember that technology is just a tool.
It is a tool.
The real learning happens when we combine the power of tech with good teaching and an understanding of how humans learn.
Exactly.
I think that's so important.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing teachers with robots.
We're not trying to get rid of teachers.
It's about giving teachers new tools.
Right. Giving them more tools to create
your learning experience.
More engaging, more effective learning experiences.
Exactly. And it's about empowering learners
to take control of their own learning.
Right.
Chatbots can help with that.
Yeah.
Because they can give personalized feedback.
Yeah.
They're available on demand.
Right.
And they can make learning more accessible.
And more equitable.
Yeah, for everyone.
Which I think is really powerful.
Yeah.
To think about.
It is.
Technology can really break down those barriers.
It can.
Open up new opportunities.
Yeah, for people who might not have access to traditional education.
It's exciting to think about.
It is.
But I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'm still a little skeptical.
That's okay.
Can a chatbot really replicate that richness and nuance of human interaction when it comes to language learning?
That's a great question.
It's a tough one.
It is. And it's one that we're going to continue to grapple with as chatbots get more and more sophisticated.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to acknowledge that AI has its limitations.
Right.
Chatbots, at least as they are right now, can't replace human connection and cultural understanding.
Totally.
Which are really important for language learning.
So it's not about choosing one or the other.
It's not.
It's about finding a way to make them work together.
Right. It's about integrating the two.
Yeah.
Finding the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to move beyond this either thinking.
Yeah, I like that.
And embrace the both-hand possibilities. Chatbots can handle the more rote learning tasks.
Okay.
Like drilling vocabulary.
Right.
Giving feedback on basic grammar.
Yeah.
And then human teachers can focus on the more nuanced things.
Right.
Like pronunciation.
Yeah.
Cultural context.
Totally.
Conversational fluency.
And as chatbots become even more sophisticated, maybe they can start to take on those more complex tasks as well.
It's possible.
And that would free up human teachers to really focus on what they do best.
Right. What humans are really good at.
Inspiring.
Right.
Motivating. Connecting with their students.
And
I think it's such an exciting time to be in the field of education.
Yeah, things are changing so quickly.
We're on the cusp of something big.
And it's up to us
to
make sure that we're using this technology in a way that benefits all learners.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility.
It is.
But it's also really exciting.
It is really exciting.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
It's a lot to process.
I'm definitely going to be exploring language learning chatbots more.
I encourage you to do so.
All right.
You might be surprised at what you find.
You know, it's funny. We always think about learning a new language as this very human thing.
Yeah.
But this research is showing that AI can actually play a pretty big role.
And I think what's really fascinating is that it's not about replacing teachers.
Right.
Remember Group B?
Yeah.
The chatbot only learners.
The ones who only use the chatbot.
Yeah, they actually did better.
Right.
When they had the chatbot as a tutor.
Like a personalized AI tutor.
Yeah, it's like having a study buddy.
Right.
Available 24/7.
But it makes me wonder if chatbots can teach vocabulary. Could they be used to teach more complex stuff?
Okay.
Like grammar or even pronunciation?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think that's the $1 million question right now.
In the world of language learning.
Yeah, in language learning tech.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already seeing chatbots that can have basic conversations.
Right.
And some that can even give you simple grammar feedback.
It's not hard to imagine a future where chatbots are doing a lot more in the classroom.
Right.
Maybe we'll have personalized AI tutors that are tailoring lessons.
Yeah, to our individual learning styles.
Our needs.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about the possibilities.
It is, but I think as we move in that direction, we really have to start thinking about the ethical implications.
Yes, absolutely. As AI starts to play a bigger role in education.
Right.
We have to think about how that's going to impact human teachers.
That's a good point.
You know, technology should enhance what humans can do.
Yeah.
Not replace them entirely.
It's not about humans versus machines. It's about how they can work together.
Exactly. And we also need to make sure that everyone has access to these tools.
Right.
Technology has the potential to really make education more accessible.
More equitable.
Yeah.
But we have to be intentional about it.
We do. We have to make sure that everyone has the opportunity.
This has been a really interesting deep dive.
Yeah, it's been fascinating.
It seems like chatbots really do have the potential to change how we learn languages.
But it's up to us
to
make sure that we're using this technology responsibly.
Ethically. Like with any new tool, we have to understand its power.
And its limitations.
And its limitations.
Exactly. Well, this deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. I'm for sure going to be checking out some language learning chatbots.
I encourage you to.
All right.
You might be surprised at how effective they can be.
And how fun.
So
if you're listening and you've tried out a language learning chatbot, we want to hear from you.
Let us know.
Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, share your thoughts.
You can find us online.
On social media.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
Into the world of knowledge.